Keanu Reeves is a meme now. That's annoying. I mean, I set up this idea for this film review 2 months ago, so hopefully it'll be alright. Hi, welcome. Is it set up nicely? Good? Alright, good. You can go now. Thank you, Sam. Hi. Today I'm in a very uncomfortable position to talk about Keanu Reeves. Ow. This is not meant to be sexual at all. I very much apologise. So yes, 2 months ago I came up with the idea of reviewing Keanu Reeves films because the new John Wick film was coming out, and I'm like, hey, this is a good way to kind of, not exactly merchandise off it, but just, I don't know, just to be able to talk about an actor that I've grown up with, someone who and you are very familiar with, especially now since E3 2019. Now, of course, this all happened whilst I was in Japan, so I have only started filming post-Japan, meaning that all these new memes have come about him, and I apologise if it seems that I am trying to leech off the fact that he is now the most popular person on the internet until this video comes out, when he is not, because someone else will, because that's how the internet works. It's all in cycles and whatever. So today we're going to talk about 7 of Keanu Reeves' films, and I'm sorry to say this, but it's going to disappoint you, because there's 7 of his films aren't the best. You know, there's so many great films that he's done. And I realised this when I was finishing up my script for the episode. I'm thinking, oh no, that's not good. So what am I going to do about it? Simple. There are films that you're going to find very obviously not in this list, and I will mention them at the very end of the episode. And I will say something like this: if this video gets 50 views or more, probably 100 maybe, because I kind of just want to see how it goes. These videos have been getting pretty popular with views, not like extraordinarily like in the thousands or anything. It's not like my Marvel video essay. It's just that for me, these videos are nicely, decently at a good, size. 30 views, 50 views, 60 views. You know, they go on their respective way because of the actor, of course. So if this video gets a certain amount of views, I will make a part 2 and do about 10 more films of his. Some of them are very small roles, so I can fit them in very nicely. And of course, that will include films like The Matrix. Okay, let's go on with it. I hope they forgive me. Hi, I've moved inside now because it is actually very cold out there. It's like about 10 degrees. You wouldn't think it because it looks very sunny and nice, but in fact, it is not. So, as per regular rule, I had sat down, watched a whole bunch of new films that I hadn't seen him in, and did my stand-by-stand reactions to them. There are films in this review that I have obviously seen before, and I've written my reviews of them less like I'm reacting to it, and more of a actual standard review, because I've seen some of these films multiple times. Now, of course, let's talk about the films let's look at what the films we'll actually be talking about in this film, in this video. Firstly, we'll be talking about A Scanner Darkly, or at some stage in this video, we'll be talking about A Scanner Darkly. We will also be talking about Knock Knock, 47 Ronin, the John Wick trilogy, 1, 2, and Parabellum, no spoilers, and Point Break. Now, unfortunately, I have not actually written a review up for Point Break because I watched it really quite earlier this year and actually cannot remember. I can remember everything that happens in the film because realistically, it's a very easy film to remember. So I guess we will start with Point Break just because I have to actually improvise that part, which may sound annoying, but I mean, I think that's fine. You know, start off with something improvised, then jump to a few that are very obviously, I've written them during my viewing of the films. Okay, Point Break. For reference, I am on Letterboxd, and that's where I put up my big reviews. So if you want to know what I'm watching, go on Letterboxd. I'm there. I have reviewed this film. I gave it 4 stars. I don't think I actually gave it a proper review. I did. Okay. At least there's some way to start off the video. So I actually, yes, I said, it's so badass it gets 2 quotes. In this case it gets, "Sir, I take the skin off chicken." And of course, "You're the real Blue Flame Special." 2 iconic quotes. One that's bizarre and weird and kind of just what the hell, why is this in this film? And then the second one, of course, is the Blue Flame Special, which is probably one of the most famous quotes from the film, I'd argue. So I'm actually going to look now on IMDb and look up Point Break. So of course it was done by Catherine Bigelow, I believe. Fuck, I hope I got that right. Point Break. No, not the 2015 version. Who watched the 2015 version, honestly? Catherine Bigelow, she did it. She directed this movie, and it's great. So, of course, you have your leads being Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze, who plays Bodhi. Bodhi? Really? I thought it was like Brody. Okay. And, of course, Johnny Utah, Keanu Reeves. It's the 90s. I don't really know what to say about this film. Like, I had seen parts of it over the years growing up. I never really watched it or given much of a crap for it. But it had its iconic moments, and of course I watched a film like Hot Fuzz, which kind of parodies films like this, and uses that footage. And so of course you had that famous shot of him, about to shoot Bodhi. Seriously, Bodhi? That's the stupidest fucking name. And he shoots in the air instead because drama. And because they're all secretly gay. It is the 90s, macho films, all macho films in the 90s are pretty much gay. Was Top Gun in the 90s or the late 80s? Either way. I mean, there's not really much to say about this film. I mean, it's got surfing, it's got drugs, it's got guns, and it has Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze. That's pretty good. I mean, I gave it 4 stars out of 5. 4 out of 5 stars. That's pretty solid. There's no real element of this film to criticize. I find it amusing to watch for certain elements. Mostly because I'm not really a sports person, and so to see a film that's just so dedicated to surfing, of course, it's not just surfing, it's adrenaline stuff, you get the bungee jumping out the plane and stuff and all that, but that's all used for dramatic reasons and whatever. Some of it's fun, like where they just bungee jump out of a plane for no reason, just for the hell of it. And then, of course, they're robbing the banks because it's all adrenaline stuff. I guess spoilers for a film that came out over 20 years ago. What are you criticizing me for a film that's almost 30 years old? Anyway, I guess plot-wise I should go into. Johnny Utah is an FBI agent looking for people who... Are they selling drugs or something? They're doing something bad. No, he's looking for the people who are robbing the banks. And so they get this idea that, I think one of them leaves behind a grain of sand in their hair or something, and they realize, okay, there must be a surfer or someone from the beach. So he goes to investigate and becomes friends with... Patrick Swayze's character and his gang, and then he realizes that they're the bad guys, and shit goes down. And it's pretty fun. It's a pretty stock standard kind of story, but it's enjoyable, it's refreshing, it takes a different approach to it as well, and it just has some quotable lines, and it's fun. It's overall fun. So I honestly, I would recommend Point Break if you haven't seen it. Would I recommend the remake? I wouldn't, because I haven't watched it, but, sure, if you want to watch it. I think it's pretty lame, but, I find the end to be interesting, mainly because being an Australian, and they're like, oh, he's in Australia where the biggest wave is, but then it's very obvious that they're not in Australia. It's strange, because they have Aussie actors, but they did not film that scene in Australia. It's very obvious that it isn't. Not to some people, of course, American viewers wouldn't understand, unless you've been to Australia, but we don't have any beaches that look like that. Especially with those, I think it's the certain types of trees and whatever that they have, it's we don't have that. Also, that beach is very much a famous beach in America, which is fine, I guess. I guess they didn't want to, fly their main stars all the way to Australia when they could have just flown Australians all the way to America. Doesn't matter. It's not that much of a gripe against me. It's not like I took off half a star because it's not actually filmed in America, in Australia. Who cares? But yeah, I honestly don't think I have anything against this film. Of course, we have to go on Rotten Tomatoes. Reliable sources right there. Slow internet right here. Yeah, no, that's it. They pretty much say it perfectly, yeah. Absurd and over the top, but entertaining. So yeah, but no, it's good. Okay, let's move on to the next one. What else do I have on my list? Can I sit in the same position? See, I was going to do this whole elaborate thing of like, oh, it's an action film and whatever, because it's Keanu Reeves and he does action, and I should be like, bang, 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 bang. But like, I don't... I'm reviewing a movie, who cares? I'm not going to do that. Like, the Aubrey Plaza thing was fine, because I just sat in the bathtub or in a shower, and then for the other half of it, I was sitting on the couch or in the theater room. It was fine. I was like, it doesn't matter. And this time it's like, but should I do something special? We don't have to. Or should we? Oh, hi there. Don't mind me, I'm just on my laptop, of course. In a storage closet. This is totally normal. I always film in here. It's let me turn on the lights. There we go. Better. You can see me more now. That's nice. We should be able to film in here. It's fine. So let's talk about A Scanner Darkly. A Scanner Darkly is a 2006 drama fantasy film directed by Richard Linklater. You will know him for works. Okay, we're going straight into review. Okay, don't even... Who cares? Director. So the film is trippy as fuck, dude. I have a very special region... I have a special region-free Blu-ray that I got with a really kooky cover, and I'm like, oh, this looks really cool and everything. Hi. And I figured that this was maybe a great idea. Hey, let's yeah, that looks better. Now you can see me better. And I figured this is probably an interesting film to look at. You got a good cast. You got Keanu Reeves in the lead. You got Woody Harrelson. You got Robert Downey Jr. Pre-Iron Man, but still in good shape. Who else do you have? Winona Ryder. Good cast, like pretty top. So yeah, Reeves plays Bob Archer? I think it's Archer. It's like Arctur / Fred, because Fred's thingies. Do I go into detail what the hell a Fred is? Let's just read this first paragraph here. So he's an undercover cop as Fred. So Freds are like suits that you can put on that make you look like multiple different people at once. It really works for the like anamorphic animation that they did for this film, in which case I should say, and I've looked at the production of the film because I watched the behind the scenes thing, they actually filmed it all live action and then edited the whole film together, and then each edited scene they sent off to animators and they would animate over the top of different character looking things. Anyway, hi, sorry, this isn't... Would you like an iron? No? Okay, maybe later. So yeah, they use that to, they use it to make everyone kind of look different, and so in every, like, few frames, everyone looks just an inch different, like, no frame is the same as the other. It's very nicely done. It makes it very trippy, and it kind of gets you like, whoa, what the hell am I watching? But it really works with the actual film, because of course it is based on a book by Philip K. Dick, famous for Do Angels Dream of Electric Sheep and Minority Report. So he's been investigated by a form of DEA that he is actually an agent for, but they don't know that, the DEA doesn't actually know that he, as Fred, is actually the guy that they're looking at, so, looking into. So, they've put a bunch of, cameras and shit in his home, and outside his home, because they're trying to investigate this Bob Archer character, and of course Bob Archer is working for them, and is actually viewing himself, he's watching himself, pretty much, when he's at work. It's really, again, adds to this kind of trippiness, but also adds this whole idea of security and surveillance that was very big of a topic post 9/11 in America, but also Philip K. Dick, someone who writes this kind of stuff about technology, it's very much the main point of his book, I believe, all about surveillance and stuff. And oh my god, there's a fucking string. Oh, anyway, so it's weird, but it makes sense because it's all animated. So like, because he's wearing his cloak and the voice. Anyway, so he's been investigated for selling a new drug, which he also actually takes, and it makes him hallucinate some crazier shit. Because it's animated, it makes it even crazier. So of course he's not meant to be. He takes and sells this new form of drug, which is very bad for you and could literally rot your brain. But also he's also a cop, but like he's a secret undercover cop. Because he's Fred. It's interesting. It takes a bit of time to get used to, but you realize like they do like that Iron Man thing where like you have the green screen head of Iron Man, of Robert Downey Jr. like looking at like what you think is a screen because like the digital animations over the top, and that's pretty much what it is for Fred. You just have that face of him, but then he sees out and sees everyone, but everyone looking at him just sees this multi-formed person thingy. So let's talk about his performance. He's very laid back until he gets high, and then he's paranoid or confused. For one part, I think his friend turns into a giant fly and has a gun attached to his ankle, or maybe that's a different film. That's a Shane Black film. Either way, it gets freaky deaky. So this is one of his less dude bro performances, so of course a lot less like his 90s escapades with Point Break. Because that's of course what he's more famous for. He's famous for playing that kind of dude bro character, but also emphasizing that maybe he can't really act that well. But in this case he can. He's very good in his performance. So the film puts good use for him puts him into this more dry and kind of confused acting performance, which he does quite often throughout the film, and actually it does work. That didn't make any sense. I'm kind of really scared right now. Anyway, it's mostly because his character becomes more confused as the film goes on, so like his laid backness versus his kind of confused and highness just starts to mix and blend and then becomes one over the other by the end of the film. Pretty much by the end of the film, he completely loses himself, which is a mild character spoiler, but like I'm not going to say how and why. I can leave that for you. It's a pretty interesting twist, kind of ending, very nicely done. His performance is pretty good in the film, actually. I think it's very suitable for him, considering that it's also animated. And he is actually considerably more animated than he is in his other films, and by that I'm doing a pun. And I enjoyed that touch very much. I think I gave this film a 3.5 stars, maybe 4. The thing will be on here. I'm not going to whip out my phone because they can track me through signals. Anyway, I'm gonna go to a new location now. I think I've pretty much blown my cover here. It just kind of feels uncomfortable talking in a laundry closet thingy. So I'm gonna go. And we're going to talk about Knock Knock next. Get it? It's a... Oh, shit. Oh, hi. How's it going? Don't mind me, I'm just kind of carrying in the corner here. Let's just turn this down a bit. No, I don't want to go and help you. Take it down, calm down. Shit. Okay. So hi. Just give me just a bit. Fuck. There we go. Okay. Knock knock. This is not a well-regarded film. Okay, this is a 2015 drama mystery. That's the one. Directed and written by Eli Roth. He's not the only writer, but like he's the main writer. Let's be realistic here. The film, of course, stars Keanu Reeves in the lead as Evan Weber, as well as Lorenzo Izzo as Genesis and Ana de Armas as Belle. And let's be honest, they're probably the only reasons why you're actually watching this movie. So, Knock Knock. According to Lachlan Reviews, someone you might know from this channel, this is the absolute right way to start a Keanu Reeves marathon. Just trying to stay as hidden as possible. The laptop doesn't give me away. It just looks like a laptop on the corner of a bed. It's fine. It's okay. Okay, so, this is very detailed in what I wrote. Holy fucking shit. Oh my god. Okay, this is going to take a bit to get through, so let's really crack this one down. The opening scene is a PG sex scene involving discussing how hot Keanu Reeves is, which of course, he's a meme now, so of course we have to discuss how, not just how nice he is, but how hot he is. See, Eli Roth really, really knew how to write his characters. So he plays family man McFam, who doesn't have sex with his wife as often as he wants to because he has kids. The obvious trope of every parent. Classic. But like, if Keanu Reeves was your husband, wouldn't you fuck him every day? Like, let's be honest. Anyway, so this is Eli Roth saying that sex is good and kids are bad, which is, I think, pretty obvious given that this is like a mediocre porno. It has the plot of a porno when you think about it. So mother and kids go to the beach for the weekend, retreat, and hence that while the mice are away, the cat will, screw some 20-year-olds, as you do. Okay, now I really get into detail as to what I don't like about these certain things. So, holy shit, how many times must they say that they're going to the beach together and that Keanu must stay at home? Like, they really emphasize the crap out of it. Like, oh my god, I get it. He has to stay at home to do work. We get it. Move on with it, movie. Just because you don't have that much of a runtime and you have to pad so much out. God damn, did I have to pad out a lot of the runtime in this movie. They have a nice visual that says he's an architect, but of course, because it's a bad movie, they also mention it 20 times in dialogue. So, yeah. How's it go? So, looks like everyone's gone for the weekend. So the mother and the kids leave, and then the two girls show up. It's raining, and of course he lets them inside because he's a generous guy. He's a nice guy. And he gives them towels and he puts their clothes in the dryer. So now they're in like vague underwear and a towel. And that's when she says, "Looks like everyone's gone for the weekend." Then Keanu gives a look like he knows he's about to get laid. I mean, like, let's be honest here. So yeah, he's Evan, by the way. I think the screenwriter forgot to mention that until this point. Like, I never actually heard his name until, it works with the final knock knock joke, but I won't spoil that. Okay. No, sorry, wait. He's Evan. I think the screenwriter, no, that literally is what I wrote. Okay, I don't even understand that. I forgot what happened in this movie. So, guy from The Matrix says he can take two girls on. That's a line of dialogue. Not a direct line of dialogue. You're like a Mythbuster. Jesus, relatable. Kids. Kawaii, I don't know. So the plot, classic family is away and one thing leads to another with two young and attractive girls. The girls' way of luring him into sleeping with them is decently executed. They flirt, then they dance, then they get naked in the bathroom, and they lure him in. And of course they screw him in the shower. I was going to film this part in the shower, but the floor is wet. Let's just put it that way. The floor is wet. Moving on. Act 2, get rid of the girls, and he does so, but then they just return really quickly. He gets rid of them really quickly. He wakes up the next morning, they're fucking around in his kitchen, like, we're cooking breakfast, daddy, and all this kind of crap. And then he finally gets rid of them because he threatens to call the cops properly, I guess. And then he drops them off where they say that they live. Oh, fuck. That must have killed the microphone. Apologies. And then they just come back anyway. Okay, cool. Because of course, this is a white suburbia where everything's perfect and everyone is rich and no one's gonna fucking rob anyone else. So he leaves the front door unlocked. Jesus, fucking Christ. Yeah, so let's just talk about his performance. So he's a convincing father and husband. I mean, it's not really hard to be that. And he plays dramatically and playfully, and it's nice. He likes to be caring for the girls, but also initially tries to avoid flirting with them. Obviously, he's like, I'm married, I got kids, I can't really do this. This is inappropriate. It's wrong. And they talk about all this sex stuff like monogamy and polyamory, all this crap, and like, I'm having a threesome and all this stuff. So of course they're trying to turn him on. So yeah, damn son, Keanu can really jump from happy chat with the wife to get the fuck out of my house. Literally. In the latter half of the film, his performance kind of dips. Like, he doesn't seem as sincere as he could when Lewis, one of the side characters, arrives and gets in a fight, and then he gets in a fight with the girls. I think it's just like a matter of believability, and he doesn't really, have it in this section of the film. I mean, we all know about his monologue about free pizza, and if you don't, here is possibly a clip. So, like, it's a fun mix of kind of baddish acting and pretty lame dialogue, but, like, obviously by this stage the writers are like, well, we've already gotten the girls naked, they've had sex, we've done the movie, what else should we write about? It's like, well, we still have, like, 45 minutes of screen time to write. Okay, let's say he kicks out the girls, then they come back, and then they fuck around in his place and start destroying it all, and then they bury him in the backyard, because that only makes sense, right? And they let's say one of the other characters gets killed off, and like one of the neighbors sees him fucking the girls, or being disrespectful to his wife because of one of the girls, and it's just like, oh, it's drama. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah, 10 out of 10. Give it for a $30 million budget, would be fine. Yeah. So yeah, outside of like the very lame dialogue, it's the delivery. Keanu Reeves is trying to act sincere, but he's not always great as an actor. We've seen that before. So the girls, they actually played a role for duo quite well. Like there's a lot of sus about them to begin with. Like, oh, what are they up to? But it's subtle enough at the beginning. They obviously are acting that like they're innocent and everything. It's like, oh, we're just girls who are out in the rain and the cold. We got lost on our way to a party. Please help us out. So he does that. Very nice of him. I think I just hit the microphone with my thumb. I apologize. Their discussion of sex with Keanu is so very open that it's pretty obvious that they're trying to sleep with him. I mean, it's blatant as hell. Like, it's obvious as hell, which is kind of the point, I guess. But it's like, it's not real fun to it. They just jump right into it. It's like, oh, let's try to turn him on by talking about what we could be doing with him and like what sex is like now that we're allowed to do whatever with whomever. And all that dumb shit. Yeah, please. They preach the monogamy is pathetic, and that's pretty much what the game is. That they're just trying to sleep with him, but of course maybe they have ulterior motives and stuff. I guess we'll get it. Maybe you get into it. It doesn't matter. So post their return, so they've slept with him and everything in the shower and in the bed. Post their return, Ana de Armas is bloody insane. I'm trying to refrain from using the F word here, but holy crap, she's insane. She plays a more childish but like overly sexual girl, whereas Lorenzo Izzo is more down to earth and maniacal. Like, she's the one who's planning it all out. She's the one who's like in control of everything, and she's allowing her best friend to just go mental. Ana de Armas' character just goes around and she dresses up literally as a schoolgirl. She dresses up in Keanu Reeves' daughter's character's schoolgirl outfit, because it's his school clothes, and then screws him, and just calls him daddy a lot, and it's really like, it's obviously a kink thing. So, there's that, and I wonder how many people watched this film and then kind of looked that up on Pornhub. So overall the film it's entertaining. Let's be honest, it's entertaining. The first third is enjoyable with the fantasy, the family versus sex fantasy dynamic, which is rather interesting. Works quite well thematically. The middle third is, it's okay. It's kind of lame. Like, suddenly he has to kick them out of the house, and then they come back, and it's just like, oh, who cares? It becomes annoying when the girls are still around, and then becomes boring when they anti-dramatically get just, like, kicked out of the house. Suddenly the writer is like, oh, we should just kick him out of the house, why not? And then it's like, okay, so what do we do next? Well, he's rich white suburbia, he'll just leave the door unlocked, so they'll just walk all the way back, apparently. Then, of course, they come back, and it just becomes total mayhem. The final act isn't bad. Like, it's very B-movie, very laughable. The acting from Keanu Reeves in particular is rather iffy, but the narrative closer is kind of nice, him being buried. You probably know the twist by now if you don't major league spoilers, I guess. But, he has the scene where he's got, buried and there's the phone, and, it's posting the video of him having sex with Anna de Armas in the schoolgirl stuff. It's already on Facebook, and then it's he could either delete it or he could click the like button, and of course you can only guess which one he does, and it's totally not by accident. It is, but still. So the whole idea that the girls were spying on him is never really answered. How were they spying? They obviously indicated that they were, and that they were very intimate into the knowledge of the guy, but they never really reveal how or why. Well, not really. Kind of why. It's just this idea of you guys will just fuck anything that. I think that's kind of the point. You fuck anything that moves, kind of thing. And they've done it to other guys before, but it's just because the whole idea is that they're actually underage, and that it's actually illegal what he's done, and it's gonna ruin his marriage, and it's gonna make him unemployable and stuff because he's a sex offender and all this kind of stuff. And it's what's the narrative point here? They turn it from this it's a sex fantasy that every girl wants to experience, and then the second half of the film is the dull and kind of boring, but also really horrifying reality of it all, and how it can just go over the top. And it's okay, I get it, Eli Roth. You're making me tired, Eli, just making me talk about your boring-ass film. So I don't think it's a bad film. It has its meat, and it's the girls are pretty outstanding in their roles. I think Keanu could have given more oomph, in that second half. But yeah, I give credit to the production design though. Having to go around that house, making it look all pretty and nice, and then going around drawing dicks and everything and swastikas and shit. I think they did swastikas. I can't remember. Either way, they do a lot of bad stuff. So yeah. I don't think I rated this very highly. Maybe 1 star? I don't know. What does it say on screen? I don't know. It says something low, and yeah. So, I think I'm pretty safe in this location right now, actually. So I might actually just get into talking about 47 Ronin. I believe you've heard of it. It was kind of a big deal when it came out because it was Keanu Reeves getting back into awesome action films with dragons and stuff. Oh, that's so cool. And then it's but it isn't. It isn't cool, and it sucks. And I will now have to look it up. 47 Ronin. That was actually really easy to find. This is a 2018 film that goes for far too goddamn long. It's directed by Carl Rinch. Who cares? Alright, let's talk about this fucking piece of garbage. Alright, so I really didn't... Knock Knock is funny and goofy and stupid, but entertaining, and it's bad, but it's entertaining to watch. You know, I bought it cheap on DVD, and I actually enjoyed it. Like, it wasn't great for the second half, but it had the last 20 minutes were pretty decent. The first 35 to 40 minutes were pretty good. The middle was boring, but then it kind of escalated and became interesting. And it has a mix, you know. So that's one part of it. Then there's 47 Ronin. I mean, I'm not talking about a person who literally just came back from Japan, and I'm not offended at all, realistically, because I had watched this film before I went to Japan. And it just offends me in terms of a storytelling point of view. So let's get into it. So Keanu Reeves plays Kai. I don't know if it's K-Y-E or K-A-I. I think it's K-A-I. He is the only white guy in... Holy crap. This position is making me tired. I think it's the lighting of the room, I'm sorry. So yeah, he plays Kai. It could be K-A-I or K-Y-E, I don't care. He's the only white guy in feudal Japan, where weird creatures exist, and for short... what? Okay. Yeah, so apparently white guys are weird, but creatures are not. Like dragons and stuff, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like they have this whole opening big backstory about Kai, and then he's not really the main character, actually. He's like a tertiary character who's just there for a romance plot that doesn't need to be there, and his character doesn't need to be there, realistically. Like, yeah, he's a part of the 47 Ronin, but, like, the actual proper actor, like, what the hell's his name? Oh god, I'm gonna butcher this. Hiroyuki Sanada, who plays Yoshio, is actually the main character. You wouldn't think it, but he is, and he is excellent, and he's a great actor. Both in the Japanese films that he's been in and the American films that he's been in. So it kind of sucks that they're like, oh, Keanu Reeves is the main character, totally, because he gets all the backstory and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but no. Like, did they write it around the fact that, like, that Keanu Reeves wanted to be in it, and they're like, oh shit, we gotta write a whole story for his character, and we've already written the script. Let's just write in his whole new character and just give him a whole backstory for the first 5 minutes of the film, and it's boring as hell, and cliche and predictable, and, you know, all that fun stuff. Anyway, honestly, creature design, it's all CGI for the most part, but it's, I mean, some of it's practical, I believe. It's pretty rad. I mean, the creatures look cool, and I guess that's what they're going for. This is a movie for obvious, like, teenage boys who like dragons and sword fighting and stuff, and I guess old guys who like dragons and sword fighting but don't give a crap that it's a bad storytelling, you know. And the production, the production design is pretty amazing as well. Like, I guess, I mean, it's probably not hard to shoot in Japan and make this film, but it probably, that's if it was shot in Japan. Like, it could have all been shot in America in a studio, so it's hard to say. I didn't really look into it because I don't care. Spatial awareness is apparently a problem in this film, and yes, it gets annoying. And for some reason, I wrote this line twice. Okay, then. Okay, I guess we'll talk about the plot, I guess. There's not really much to talk about. The main dude that's like the shogun of our main characters gets poisoned and dies, and then a guy marries the daughter who Keanu Reeves is in love with, and becomes the new shogun and kicks out the samurai because it's like, you failed to save your master, because I actually hired a witch to kill him, but I'm not going to tell you that because I'm the good guy, totally the good guy. And then, you know, they become Ronin because they have no master, and there's 40-something of them, and I think there's 46 of them, and then like they meet up with Keanu Reeves, a character who's also part of them. He's kind of a samurai, but not really. And just, I don't care about explaining this plot. They obviously just go to get revenge, and then they have to fight a fucking witch that turns into a dragon, and it's pretty boring. The fight scenes are lame as shit, dude. Wow, this glitched really badly. So samurai competition happens at somewhere at the start of the film, and it sucks. That's great. 10 out of 10 right there. They need to learn how to make a good action film, and the guy that he apparently... This is a weird thing. So, Keanu Reeves comes in to fight as a samurai because the guy who was meant to be a samurai gets bewitched. And so Keanu Reeves is like, we have to keep our master's honor, so I will fight. And so he does, and he loses, and then his helmet falls off, and it's like, oh my god, what, you have a white guy fighting for you? And like the master's like, oh shit, what the hell's going on? And they're never like, yeah, well, our dude was bewitched, and we don't know what happens to the guy in the end. He's just like, oh, he's just bewitched, and then suddenly it doesn't matter anymore. It's like, you've dishonored me and everything. It's like, but the dude was bewitched. Can nobody explain this stuff? Like, damn, it's such a bad plot device. So the forced drama is forced, and it's bad, and is never resolved, and it's just... it's so stupid. Anyway, so it's a very cliched story, it's very cliched dialogue, it's very melodramatic for a samurai film where they fight witches. A witch. Come on, samurai, a witch that turns into a dragon, come on! Why is it so dumb and boring? It just is. This film is like The Great Wall, except it's not offensive, apparently. But it is very American. I think this film is actually, reconsidering it, this film is probably very offensive. It's so stupid. It's not like, I don't know, I guess The Great Wall is offensive. I guess it's offensive to moviegoers. Yeah, let's just put it that way. These films are both offensive to moviegoers. This film is based off, a great Japanese story of, the 47 Ronin, and it's just dumbed down, and it's, it's in English, and Keanu Reeves is just kind of randomly put into the film, and it's like, and his character is rather pointless. He doesn't do anything really in the film. Maybe he leads the Ronin, but I don't think... I'm very sure it's the other guy. It's this guy. He isn't even the main character. Hiroyuki Sanada is. He's the main dude. He's the guy who has the son. He has the drama. He's the one who's like, I want to redeem myself and my family. And his son even joins him as one of the Ronin and then gets redeemed at the end. And it's like, why is this so bad? Keanu has this love interest with the princess, but Sanada actually, has a stake in the actions, in his actions, and literally leads the film. Because everything's based on what he does, he's the one that takes all the dramatic action, and Keanu doesn't. So, of course, that's why he's the main character, and Keanu isn't. So of course there's a 1 year later segment after their betrayal. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna start a rebellion kind of thingy with my other fellow 47 Ronin. And we're gonna get all these swords from this magical place. And then we're gonna kill the witch that we don't know is a witch yet. Because apparently we're dumb as shit. Yeah, that's totally how it actually happened. So Keanu Reeves' performance... he doesn't, do any, he doesn't perform, he doesn't act, he's just there. He just stands there and thinks having other people, and sometimes he fights, but it's The film very much wants to be filmed in Japan, and, to look and feel like Japan, but it fails at that. It's all a CGI crap fest of this is totally what Japan looks like, bro. Look at it, it's feudal Japan. It isn't. It's a CGI landscape. It sucks. The costume design is... the costume design's pretty good, but I guess arguably it's not hard to make designs based on stuff that already exists. I'm sorry, is a kimono that hard to make? Think about it. The production design isn't bad. It's neat, not always accurate, but it's not bad. And yeah, in the end, it's actually a waste of time, and I actually fell asleep during the film, and then I woke up, stopped the film, went to bed properly, woke up the next day, did a whole bunch of stuff, came back, finished the film, realized, wow, that really was a whole waste of time, and then reviewed it and gave it, a half a star or whatever I gave it. I really don't know why Keanu Reeves is probably only in the big title because, America must know that Keanu Reeves is in this because he's top billed because we probably paid him the most. Bloody chairs. So, John Wick. It's a trilogy directed by Chad Stahelski. Pretty cool action director. Now, he's done all 3 of the films so far. Get out of the way, Rex! And I've obviously got my likes about the films. Now, originally my review was simply just it's more like a trilogy. That was like all I was going to say. But then I decided that was a bad idea because this trilogy deserves more than you would expect, especially because it's not really a trilogy anymore. So these are stellar films. I originally hated the name John Wick, saw the posters on the train and was like, that looks dumb, and decided I'm not going to watch those films. Don't set him off. What is this? Wick pun? Stupid. It's okay, Rexy. You're going to be fine. I will save you. And then I bought it for my father for Father's Day along with a few other films, and he put it on, and I missed the whole opening stuff with his wife, but saw the first fight scene and was like, what? This is awesome? What? And it doesn't matter. Worth it, totally. I rewatched that film 3 or 4 times before the second one even came out. Watched the second one in theatre, hated it. Then watched it again and again and again and again and again. Oh, love it. And now I've, of course, watched the third one, Parabellum, and I love it just the same. How could I define these? Films? The first film, the pool scene. This one scene here.
Вика видели. Да не, ничего. 2-й этаж. Статус. Подвал. Да.
Now, of course, it's not the whole entirety of the pool scene, which is an amazing scene, but there's that one part of his acting, it's just deadly and scary, but so badass, and it's perfect. It just encapsulates the John Wick boogeyman character so well, and I loved it. Now, of course, the first film I think is really good. It introduces the world and the character very well. It's very tight as well. You got the emotional stuff with the wife and the dog, and it's very well done. Of course, the villain isn't so great, especially their final fight, but I've heard that they kind of ran out of budget, so they just did a fist fight thing in the rain with a knife, and that's what you get. It's worth it, though, I'd say. It's a great film, and the end is pretty fun. Overall, wild ride of a film. John Wick 2, Chapter 2. Like I said, I hated this film. I was expecting more neon lights and more cool stuff. I mean, I got that, but I just wasn't appreciating what I was watching. The catacomb scene in particular is gorgeous, but my favourite scene would probably be the Hall of Reflection mirrors segment near the end. Either way, I definitely would recommend this film. I think the additional stuff towards it being the assassin kind of guild and stuff is really cool. That whole extra world building, all around the world level stuff is just amazing. It's kind of strange that nobody notices the fight between him and Common the whole entire time and until the knife fight in the train. And it's like, how many of these people know about this assassin world, especially with the ending kind of twist of now everyone's after John Wick, and it's like, but how many people are assassins? But who cares? It's cool. I mean, do I really have much else to say about the second film? Honestly, no, I don't. I still think his performance is absolutely fantastic. You get more of him as a natural character because, of course, now he's actually getting a bit more hurt and stabbed and stuff, and you care more about that element to it, and it's really quite worth it. Either way, totally cool. I think the second film definitely tops the first film in terms of production and character and action especially. Then, of course, Parabellum. All these films were directed by the same guy, and it's all... I mean, it shows, but it's also really cool. Parabellum, I don't think works as well as the second chapter, just because this narrative is a bit clunky in a way. It's hard to criticize it. I've only watched it the one time in the theater. I have yet to watch it a second time, and given how much I love the first and second film, but I really like the third film coming out of theater, especially the knife fight near the start of the film, given that the first 45 minutes of the film is practically just one long fight scene. Then they go to Casablanca, and it's just like dogs and horses, and it's mental. The horses was earlier than Casablanca, but still, the horses, what the hell. I would totally 100% suggest this trilogy to anyone who likes action films. I'd say that this is probably the greatest action trilogy of my lifetime, which is saying something given that The Matrix has also come out in my lifetime. But I was like 1 year old when it came out, so I really can't really judge it that well. And this is also given in like the MCU films that come out, but I prefer the action in John Wick much more than the MCU films. Yeah, so I definitely would like to rewatch Parabellum to be able to give a perfect definition as to whether I prefer it to the second one or not. It might arguably be the weaker one because it so focuses on fight scenes. But I don't mind. Overall, I rather enjoy it. The first film, I believe I gave about a 4.5-star rating because it was just so cool, but the fighting at the end, like the last fight scene, just it wasn't perfect. But was still quite nice, and the ideologies presented in it, especially if you watch the movies of Mikey talking about the first and second film, makes the films much more enlightening to watch. The second film is much superior than the first one, in my opinion. Some people say it's the first one is better. It depends on what you're looking at. I guess the first one has a tighter narrative, but the second one has cooler action set pieces and better character dynamics and all kinds of other stuff. And, like, you know, the first one, he's fighting for, like, because, you know, for revenge of his dog and his wife and his car. The second one is the car and the memory of the dog and the wife. And the third one is just the memory of the wife, which is really nice and kind of still works with the character flow. And really kind of, it makes me question what's going to happen, of course, in the next one, because, of course, how could there not be more John Wick films? Yeah, I gave the second one 5 stars because it's just tremendous. The third one, I've given it 5 stars, but I'm still in question as to whether I think that's a 4.5 or a 5-star, or maybe even a 4-star film. I guess most people who are more realistic in the way they review things give all these films about between 4 and 5 stars. I'm way too eager into them, so I give them a lot more. Probably not more than they deserve, but more. I give them what I think they deserve, which is proper reviews. Either way, I really enjoyed this trilogy. I highly recommend it to anyone, especially if you've never watched it before. If you love action, if you love Keanu Reeves, he is spectacular. And these films, I mean, it's not just him. The co-stars as well are amazing. The villain, the first one isn't bad. The second one is pretty good, especially there's like mini bosses and stuff like Common and Ruby Rose's character. And she doesn't speak at all, so I mean, if you don't like Ruby Rose, I guess good enough. I don't know. I don't mind her. She's an actress. Doesn't matter. And the third film is just bananas, but quite mental and just bananas. And I definitely would recommend the whole trilogy. Definitely. I don't really think there is much else to say. Because, you know, we're all keen on Chapter 4, so I think that's pretty obvious. Avenge me. We're still here? Was that all a dream? Oh, fuck. It's kind of disappointing. The mic was sitting on here. Damn, my ass is numb. Alright, I'm gonna get up. This is being ridiculous. Ow. Alright, I guess thanks for watching this review of Keanu Reeves films. Did I do the John Wick ones? Was that a dream? It doesn't matter. So, as I've written here in my script, yeah, cool. If this video gets more than 100 views, it's possible. Realistically, if it gets more than 50, that's fine. If it gets more than 100 views, it's not like I'm saying more than 100 likes, because that seems literally impossible. I'm gonna make a part 2 of this video, featuring, drumroll please, okay, maybe not, The Matrix, of course, Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, which I have never actually seen before, and I will be watching it on YouTube because it's like impossible to get on DVD. Constantine, Toy Story 4, because I am watching it this weekend, and apparently he's in it, so that'll be a small role to review, which will be fun. Always Be My Maybe, also on Netflix. Speed, because Sam said, dude, why aren't you doing Speed? And I'm like, ooh, that's a good point. So I'm going to rewatch Speed and do a review for it. There's also that Dracula film that Ford Coppola did, where Keanu Reeves is in it, and he does a really bad performance, so I'm going to review that too. Man of Tai Chi, which is very important. My friend Guy suggested it because he said that Keanu Reeves directed it. I don't know if he wrote it, but I know that he directed it. It's based off his own learnings, and he's the lead actor in it. So I bought the DVD, it's coming in the mail, and I'm actually pretty interested to watch it. And of course, there is lastly, I don't know why I said of course, you probably don't even know what this film is, The Bad Batch, which is a Netflix film, which also has Keanu Reeves. Apparently it's pretty decent, so another recommendation from Guy. And that's all. That's 10... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 more films to watch. I'm not doing The Matrix 2 or 3, you know, the Revolutions and Reloaded, because I don't want to rewatch them again. I only want to rewatch The Matrix, because The Matrix is really cool. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Feel free to like, share, and subscribe for more. You can find more videos of me reviewing actors like Cara Delevingne, Aubrey Plaza, Dakota Johnson, and there are more to come. I'm going to do more male actors and more female actors. I've got a Japan special coming up soon, and part 2 of this might eventually happen. I don't know when, but sometime soon it will happen then. I didn't script that was improvised. Oh, I'm getting better. Cool. Hope this video has been dark enough for you. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Feel free to smash that like button. Share this to your friends so people can watch it, and then I can make a second video and I can feel important. Because people will watch my video. Like, get the fuck out of here. Fuck. I'm very tightly in here. This is actually really awkward. Fuck. Oh. Bye. Oh, mother of wow. What do you think of my Japan shirt? Kind of suits the video quite nicely, you know, verses and stuff. Bye. Oh, can't even see the tomato sauce in my throat. Convenience of having a tomato sauce cap just right outside the frame. Production design, boy. Ugh, I've got tomato sauce all over my throat.